So are you planning to migrate to a new country in 2023 or 2024? On today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about the tips that you need to a new country without the struggle aspect. It's already a lot of hassle to move to a new country. There's so many things to deal with, the new culture, the new adapting to a new environment, learning the rules and regulations and all that stuff, right? So you don't want to add like extra issues to it. There are a lot of people that move to a new country and they have to start from the scratch. Like people leave their countries as affluent or average individuals and then they move to a new country and they have to start from the beginning. Like why do you have to go down to ground zero? Like I have to start climbing up your career ladder again. And then most people have to start doing like manual jobs, things they've never done in their lives. And I've had a lot of experiences, I've had a lot of stories, and one of the things that bothers me so much is this particular issue. That's why I'm going to give you some tips on what you can do to be able to move to a new country in a very different way. Now let's get straight into this video. The first point I'm going to talk about is do not be desperate. Like when I moved also I was desperate. I just wanted to leave my country. Like it makes sense, I understand that you want to leave your country, right? But don't be desperate. People have done the most astonishing things because of desperation. So people like claim like false asylum just to leave their country. Like people do the worst just to leave their country, and it's quite disheartening. So even in your desperation, you need to be calm and you need to be able to make the best decisions, right? So one of those decisions you have to make is you have to think about, or like which where am I going to live? You have to, if you're going to a very big country like the United Kingdom, you have to think about where you want to live. You have to think about what kind of job you want to do. You have to think about do you need to learn any new skills, all that. You need to think about, oh, how am I going to raise my children in this country? Are there any particular places where it's easier to raise children, where there are less wayward children? Are there places that are cheaper, like more affordable for families? There are so many things to consider, and when you're desperate, you don't think about all that. I remember when I was about to move to the UK, I used to see all those comments on Instagram, and people are saying, "Oh, this is happening in the UK, that's happening in the UK." And you know what I used to say? I used to be like, if you want to discourage us, you cannot discourage us. For this UK must come. And luckily for me, because when you see all those things, instead of you to these days when people come on Instagram and they're like, "Oh, don't do this," they're like, "These UK people have come again." Just the same energy you're using to see these UK people have come again, use that same energy to think about what that person has said and see, okay, does this apply to me? Is there something positive I can pick from what this person has said? Do you understand? Because people are just like, "Oh, we must come, we will not discourage us," and all that jazz, and then you end up coming and falling victim of the same circumstance. Like it doesn't even make sense that people pay so much to get a healthcare worker visa, and then they come here, they are stranded, they don't even have shifts. Oh my god, like I know someone that moved here with his family, and then his wife was gonna go the COS, and it was just only £1,000, and they're living in London. They can't even pay their house rent £1,000. Like the husband had to stay home with the kids. It was just horrible. Like it took them so long to even be able to start settling. Have a lot of money. Like I understand if you don't have money. I understand if you're just average and you just need to move. A lot of people are coming here to hustle and to make their lives better, and it makes a lot of sense. But if you have the money, I would advise you to prepare a lot of money if you're moving to a new country. Like after you've had your proof of funds, after you've paid all the things you have to pay for, you should have, especially if you're coming with your family, you should have a reasonable amount of money set aside to move. Do you know why? When you move, it might take you a while to get a job, it might take your spouse a while to get a job. You need money to survive during those times. Even when you get a job, right? It might still take you time because there's going to be a lot of bills. When you first arrive, you're trying to get a lot of new stuff to settle in and all that. So you need to be able to have excess money just for unforeseen circumstances. You never know, right? So people come here and they have to start working and doing all sorts of jobs just because they didn't plan. Like they don't have any extra money. If they don't have any option but to work. And you don't want to be in that situation where you don't have any other option. Like home and abroad, you just have to work and make that money. So you don't have a choice. Anything they say you should do, you have to do it just to make ends meet, basically. But if you have a lot of money stored away, I know somebody that moved here and he was like, oh, they didn't even work like for a long time. And when his wife, because he was a student and his wife was the dependent, and when his wife finally got a job, she was doing a job that she works only 2 weeks per month or something like that. Like, you can actually just choose the kind of job you want because you've prepared ahead. Do you understand? So very important, come with as much money as you can, as you possibly can. Think about what you want to do. Think about a new skill that is in demand, that is possibly something you could do before, or possibly something you have an interest in and you could just easily develop. You get, like when I was moving to the UK, I thought about it. It's like, okay, I researched for like in demand occupation, and I saw, oh, I could become a chef. Chefs are always in demand. So I went to culinary school for 1 year. Like, it has to be a plan. Oh, I want to move in this year and I need to plan. What do I do? What am I going to do when I get there? Do I need to start learning the skill now? Do I need to start doing it? Then I moved to the UK. And the first 2 jobs I did were chef jobs. Like, it literally took me 2 weeks after quarantine to get those jobs. Like, they were so in demand that it was just easy. It was easy to get. Basically, like, I had like about 5 offers. I had to reject some. Then there were 2. I already accepted one. I got another one, and then I was like, okay. I had to speak to both of them. Can I do part time here and part time here? That was how it was. So look at the in demand occupation list. See something else that you could do. I appreciate people that are able to do care work. Like, it's such an emotionally rewarding career. I can't do it. I've never done it. I'm grateful that my husband didn't have to do it also. But there are a lot of people that have to do it to survive. And if you think about it, it's mostly because they don't have any other choice. They have to pay their school fees, they have to survive, and they need that money. Do you understand? So if you learn another skill that pays you okay, it just makes sense to be contented with it. And especially if you have enough money to be comfortable, you're not in a bare situation, right? But a lot of people have to do these jobs to survive. And if you don't want to be in that position where you're going from one menial job to the other just to survive, then it's important for you to be able to find any other skill that you can do before you finally get the career job that you want. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about is, even when you end up doing whatever skill that you've learned, or let's even assume they ended up doing care work, you always have to make plans, right? You cannot just I've seen a lot of people that have had to abandon their careers. Somebody is a pharmacist and he's here and he had to start doing care work. First of all, now from care work, he has moved to business analyst. Like, it's good that everybody's trying to move to IT, it's nice, but I feel like if you're actually living a life of purpose and you know what you want to do in your life, you can't just be moving wherever the wind blows. You have to make up your mind that I'm going to do what I want to do, no matter what happens. I don't believe that, except maybe what you were doing before, you're not passionate about it, or you're suddenly so passionate about IT and it's fine and all that. But I don't believe that you just need to like dump everything you're doing in your life just because. If you need to find if you need to study a course, right? Find something that is in line with what you're passionate about. If you need to find a job, find something. Always, even if you end up doing something you're not passionate about, you know that this is for a limited time. You're not going to do this for so long. Do you understand? So before you move to a new country, you need to have that in mind. Make some research. How do I continue to progress in my career? Are there exams I need to write? Do I need to do certain courses and all that? So just have that at the back of your mind and work towards it when you finally move. So that will help like keep you in check, and you're not just doing anything that everybody's doing just to make money. If you have kids, especially, you're going to need a car once you move. So prepare to buy a car as soon as you move. We didn't buy a car immediately, but we got a car like maybe like 5 months later. I know someone that got a car like 1 week later. So if you have the money, like, you can buy a car, because whatever driving license you come with, you can drive with it for 1 year. It's not going to be so easy to start learning the road regulations, because nobody's going to say, you just came. If you do what you're not supposed to do, like, the letter is waiting for you in your house. There's no story about that one. So of course, have it at the back of your mind that if you're going to come with kids, it makes sense to get a car. Like, it's not funny to be trekking with children. If you have 2 or 3 kids and you have to trek, one is saying carry me, the other one is saying I'm hungry. like there are days that you cry tears, like the tears will actually just be dropping out down your cheeks, like it's not even funny. So for you to be comfortable, for you not to have to be running to bus stop, you will be going to you're trying to get a bus, right? Because sometimes the bus will say it's coming this time, but sometimes it comes before, sometimes it might come after, and then you are just coming to the bus stop, and then now see the bus is coming, and they are running to the bus stop. They will leave you, like it happens to me so many times, like tears just hot tears just coming out from down your cheeks. They will leave you, and they are standing there waiting for the next bus, and you have a child or you're carrying a baby. You're coming with kids, prepare your money for car. It's okay if you can't afford it. Of course, if you have the money, because I've seen a lot of people that they have money back home, because this country to rubbish you, with all your money, it will rubbish you. So if you have money, you need to know how to apply your money to work for you and for you to get that kind of comfort that you deserve with the money that you have. So come planning to get a car, it's just competition fees. If you're a student, make up your mind, don't go and pay deposit and start coming. Like if you don't just want to carry stuff on your head, you can pay them, work back to back. They're working back to back. That is not a good position to put yourself in as a student, because you're not supposed to work more than 20 hours per week, and you're putting yourself in a situation where you don't know what's going to happen. Like when you finish, whether you're going to get post study visa, you know, I got enter fasting and prayer, but it's you that they say don't work more than 20 hours. You went and you're working more than 20 hours. Do you understand? Don't put yourself in that position. So if possible, at least pay 50% of your tuition fee. At least. If it's 50% that is left, even without your 20 hours, it will not be so bad. Like what you have to pay per month won't be so bad. You can still get it somehow. But just imagine that you're not paying. Some people just pay deposits 1k, 2,000. They will not have to start from square one. Do you understand? Which does not make any sense. Like I know people that have had to struggle so much with school fees, and it's quite disheartening to everybody's about to graduate and you're not even sure you're going to graduate because you've not finished paying your school fees. And see, these people, they don't joke with their money. Even if it's something pence that you're owing, you have to pay before you put your name on graduation list. If not, you're just on your own. So tuition fees, very key. It's okay if you can get it, kudos to you, I wish you all the best. But if you have the money, pay at least half of your tuition fees. We're lucky when we're coming, we paid everything. Pay everything, have peace of mind if you have the money. Don't just start saying, okay, when I come. Or if you have the money, just pay it and move on with your life. Like you'll be happy that you did. That peace of mind is basically priceless. Let's talk about accommodation. Luckily for us, when we were coming, we found accommodation before coming. The accommodation story here you're hearing that you hear from back home is not a joke. There's no house. Like you have to, and even if there's house, they're going to look for people that can pay the money. They are looking at people they will trust more to pay the money. I mean, landlord, right? I have a house. I'm not just going to give it to anybody. I need somebody that I'm sure that okay, next month you not start speaking and like you have the money ready. Do you understand? So I'm going to look for someone that has a stable job. If you don't have a stable job, at least you have a guarantor that has a stable job. You basically show that you can pay this money and get to be a good tenant like down the line. So you can't really blame them. And people, as you're applying for the house, other people are applying. So they're going to choose who their best bet is. So what me I'll say, don't just wait until when you reach, you know, start looking for house. I moved to UK in September. By June, July, I was already looking for house. And I was able to find a house. I paid deposit. I don't know if it's still like that, but there was one of the property people we used, Sandstone. If there's Sandstone wherever you're going, you can check them out. They will take £200 deposit, and Sandstone property, they will most likely just take your deposit £200 and then they will take the house off the market and keep it for you. Like they're not asking you plenty questions. Do you understand? So before you fill out the forms, because all those processes take a lot of time. Before you fill out the forms and do everything you have to do, it's time for you to move. So there are hardly other agents that do that. Most of them would deal directly with the landlord. But if you find somebody that is not really directly with the landlord, it's much better, because the property agents can actually make their own decision based on what they can see. Do you understand? Landlord might just stay there and say, I prefer this person. There's nothing anybody can do. But those agent people will, if you can afford this, I can afford this, will be able to pay certain amount of money or make some certain levels of commitments. They are willing to take the house off the market for you. So if you can find that kind of arrangement, perfect. If you can't find that kind of arrangement, just keep checking. You never can tell, something might work. I moved to this country and they kept my key in like a key box, and I went straight to my house, removed my key, and moved into my house. I think I was gonna start sporting with anybody. Like nobody forced you to move. I beg, don't just come and carry your issues and come and meet people. Like we know how people are moving and are coming to this country and they're stranded. They're staying. Somebody stayed in one bedroom apartment, one bedroom. In fact, it was one room. She and her husband and her son and her children. I think she had 2 kids. And one of the children, because the place was so cold, there was no heater. That boy developed one weird infection, and up till today, he's still struggling with it. You can't, and these are the things that happen when you come and you don't have money, you don't have options, and it's really painful. So you need to prepare to move. Don't just enter. Everybody's going, let's go. You just enter a road. That's like the worst decision you can make. Because now, what would you say? Oh, you move to a new country now. Your child has an issue that medical treatments cannot even solve. Like it's really painful. So accommodation, very, very key. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is, I'm not going to say don't get pregnant though. No, I'm not going to be your fertility calculator or calendar or anything, or a fertility planner. But if you can wait till you settle before getting pregnant, it's much better. Like we can always get it. We are strong, we're resilient and all that jazz, but it's not easy to come to a new country with pregnancy. Fine, they have all those things that tend to make your life easy. They even give you a baby bottle when you give birth. Like you do that in Scotland, I'm not sure about England. All those ones they, right? But just imagine that you just came home, you don't even have any career, or you've not finished school, you know, you went to carry belly, you're now going to school, now you're struggling, trekking, maybe you don't even have car, and you're trekking with stomach. And then you now have to, you've not even really, most cases, maybe you've not even gotten a job. And once you start showing that you have belly, nobody's going to give you work. So just think about it. You came, you did not have money, and everybody, like the finance of your family depends on the fact that both of you are able to work back to back, and then you now came and carry belly. So it just means that you can't work. It's just your spouse that has to work. Now, if only your spouse has to work, then it's basically not going to be easy at all. So even when you give birth, you have to stay for at least 1 year maternity leave before you start looking for work. Now, if you give birth, you have to invite somebody from your mom or your mother-in-law to come. That is not cheap. You have to pay the money for someone to come. If you say somebody cannot come, I know a lot of people that first-time moms and nobody can come because they can't afford to bring somebody and they have to get it alone. Just think about it. And then here, nobody sends you. Like everybody's about that. We can always form, oh wow, this is, you gave birth. Fine and good, but we're going to face our lives and then you're going to be on your own very soon. And another very important point is that when you give birth, you're going to be, after 1 year, you most likely might not be able to afford crèche or daycare. Like you can't afford daycare, it's expensive. I live in Dundee and daycare for a 1 year old is about like 1K ish, because they're going to go to private and you have to pay. So how many people can afford 1K per month for daycare? So it just means that you basically do not have a career for the next 3 years. You're going to be at home, taking care of your child, except if you have a flexible husband and you guys can plan your life around who goes and who comes. So this person watch the child, and then, but some people don't have that luxury, and they have to, especially some that come here as single mothers, or like maybe their partners are back home and they're just the ones here. So you basically don't have a career or anything till that child is 3 and can go to school, and that's even in Scotland. In England, 4 years before the child can start going to school. Although there's good news that they might, maybe from 2025, allow children from 1 year, I think it's from 0 to 2, no, I think from 1 year to start going to school for free. So, but before then, you need to know that for now, it's still 3 years, and if your child is not 3 or 4 in England, then you have to pay school fees. The pro tip I'm going to give you is find a church, a Nigerian church, if you're moving, or just find a church community, because those are people that are going to be there for you. If you decide to give birth, you're going through difficulties. Like my church is a welfare team that helps people that don't have houses. Some churches, like within, they usually have like accommodations and we can help you stay like for a few months before you get on your feet. So there's this community, but if you're just coming on your own and you're like, oh, I don't even like those Nigerian churches safe, I'm not even interested, then you just be ready to get it out on your own. So, and as always, build connections, meet people. Don't just sit down and shut up your mouth, speak to people. There's a lot of information out there, but if you don't know, you don't know basically. So I'm going to stop this video here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you got some value from it, please leave a comment down below, like, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. See you in my next one.